So we covered price action, we covered order flow, we covered a auction market theory. Now we will go through some examples where we are going to connect all these things together, and after that we will go in depth on each trading setup and how to execute it, how to manage it, and so on and so forth. So this is a chart of I believe this is ETH. Once again, you can see how market is behaving around prior value areas, and when it comes to pickups in volumes. So if you're gonna start from the bottom, we have this V-shaped reversal day at the value area high. You have this last piece of a cluster that broke above the structure here. Market comes into this, going to retest it, form a little bit of a QM pattern, which is still kind of staying inside at the value area high. So you have a support, it gets broken, you make a higher high, we got a retest here, we move higher. The next day, once again, you have this little bit of a cluster, although this is nothing too insane because it didn't really break anything here, but you are basically just coming off from a value area high. This is a little bit tricky because you have a failed swing that fails to continue. Market basically pushes into the news event. Once again, you have this high volume failure at the prior high, you have a quick sell-off. Market then proceeds to make this double bottom, and so it pulls back higher inside. Once again, this kind of a high where it fails, moves lower, takes out this kind of a double bottom, and then just kind of proceeds to move higher from there. The failed swing which happens here, we are taking this prior day, this prior swing point is happening at the prior day value area high. Okay, once you break above the prior day value, you are going to retest this kind of thing, this last kind of a price pause before the move up. So simple price action, nothing too complicated, but you can see how looking at these, even the prior day value area highs and lows as a kind of a levels can be useful. Okay, not every single one is important, but the ones with a price structure around them work great. Okay, this is the intraday chart for BTC. Okay, let's take a look at that. Move down, VWAP in this case is actually pointing clearly lower, so once you pull back inside the VWAP in these cases, a huge pickup in the cumulative volume delta. Okay, so this is kind of your trend day VWAP. You have also this little bit of a price pause, this is more of a classic SR rather than anything, but the trade idea is there, on the established move down, pull back into the VWAP, which is pointing down, and high pickup on a CVD right there. The same thing kind of happens on the next day. The VWAP is going down, we break below the prior day value area low. You have this sort of a cluster here, you pull up into it on a high relative volume, which you can see this a blue bar here, cannot kind of establish it, you overshoot it a little bit, which happens on the lower time frames, and you will continue to go lower. Once we pull back inside the VWAP, we have a large volume, a large cumulative volume delta. Once again, buying, no kind of success. You don't need to short it here, because then once you break the structure, you have this kind of a small lower time frame cluster, which you can continue to trade lower. Another one, this was a little bit of a complicated trade to catch, but sometimes this has to go this way, especially on lower time frames. Market went up to this on a quite a bit of buying. First of all, you have this kind of a cluster that took out this low, so this is a nice efficient structure. This is also a QM. Once market reclaims the VWAP, you are kind of free to take a long here, but I remember actually trading this. We had some sort of a key level here which we took, and you can see how we basically break below the structure and then market pulls back just a little bit on a very high delta. This is one of those situations when you see candle turning out, it's good to just fade it. Your stop is not going to change. The worst thing is that you will eat a little bit of a drawdown, but when the momentum is high, you need to react to things really quickly, which in this case was kind of a way to play it. Intraday kind of a failed swing on a high volume and CVD, so that's nice continuation of a trade. You are firstly bouncing from the daily value area high, but once you lose that level, the value area for a day, you make this QM structure with also high CVD at this kind of a head here. So this is once again the buyers are stacked, market breaks below it, continues lower. Massive selling into this orange line. This is the naked volume point of control that gets hit. All these sellers are pretty much trapped, and they soon will be really in a trouble, especially once market reclaims the VWAP. The structure below here is not the best one, but when you see this insane amount of selling, you just kind of go with it, and it's when something like this happens. This is called a delta unwind, which is massive amount of selling coming in. You can expect very violent move to the other side once any significant level gets reclaimed. Bitcoin, once again, here we are trading above the prior day value area high, and you can see that you have a little bit of a QM. Also the cluster here once again gets exceeded a little bit, but the important thing is this one, okay? The absorption on a pullback, makes it a good trade, and as this low as the low holds, it's a good trade to be in. If you miss the original entry, once again you are pushing higher, and there is this little bit of a CVD divergence here, basically. Can be a little bit hard to spot, but you will pull back. Look how much selling comes into it. Single bar delta divergence, these are these shaded things, will move this market higher. This is everything here is kind of a solid pullback. This was a pretty clean trend. Once market, this is a little bit of a double top action, so this is not ideal, but you have a large pickup in delta, and you will lose the level, make this kind of a Quasimodo pattern here. This high buying delta back into the level kind of gives it away that you will at least have a short pullback, which will just fill this kind of a move into here. Okay. This is the ETH once again. This is what I showed you on a composite profile, market profile video, where you have this composite area. Market, takes this poor low, which is this one, into this cluster, which is here, and obviously since you have this kind of wick under these lows, you are not really expecting to roll over too much, so you can either go bid here blindly, and if you are unsure about that, you reclaimed basically this kind of a market structure. This is high that made a low, you make a higher high, pull back into it, market will just go from there. The ES, this is the E-mini S&P, the 30-minute chart. This was interesting to say, at least. Huge flush with a V-shaped reversal, but market didn't, make any sort of a higher high. Therefore, it's going to pull back. It hits the POC from the another day. You can see that those that were executing this kind of a cluster inside this V reversal would get quite a bit of a squeeze. So this is what I mean by, market really has to show conviction from the V reversal, which didn't do here. So this is not a trade worth taking, in my opinion. Market moves up, you have this failed swing, above these highs, so you will sell off again, take out the lows here, basically stop inside the POC from this day, which will just make this big triple bottom where market will actually find the bottom, and this led to a huge rally from here. So, but you are taking this low here, so it's not too inefficient structure, although from my taste is not the best thing. What is kind of a great thing is that although, and this is kind of where you can get a little bit, insecure about the volume profile, there is a prior day value area high which paused the price, but once again you can see that you took this low on a 30-minute chart, push higher, make a pullback on a high volume, so a lot of sellers stepped in, but market immediately bounced back, and you can use this level as a cluster. So this kind of a trapped selling is more important to me than a value area high, and market will essentially move higher. Also, what I forgot to mention, that this failed swing stopped at this naked volume point of control. Next one, not 100% sure what the market is, it's not that important. These are just kind of a failed, this is BTC actually, yeah, these are just kind of these failed failed swings on a high relative volume, which you can see, market makes a failed swing here, makes this kind of a Quasimodo structure, continues lower, double bottom, once again moves up from here, relative volume pickup. In this candle, next flush, relative volume at the bottom, and we go from there. So this is just a watching at these relative volume candles and how they behave in the market. This is a higher time frame chart as well. This is a 4-hour chart. This is actually this is the thing which was interesting about this market, is that this is a H4 chart of a Bitcoin. So this is not a lower time frame thing only. Okay, this is viable to use on any time frames. I use these high volume candles on daily and weekly charts as well. Yeah, and this is the E-mini S&P. This is a daily chart basically, so you can see how anytime where the high participation steps into the market, it signals any sort of a reversal. Once these candles get tested, it will act as SR. This was a really clean compression here. We took it on higher relative volume, then we did this terrible price action for a couple of days, but eventually we moved higher from there. And the LVNs here are the most simple ways to actually mark out the support and resistance. It's just something interesting to show how market just reacts at these LVNs if you don't care about any sort of precision. Okay, so now after we will cover the trading setups, we will then start to filter out these things based on your trading styles you will decide to go with. But the key of these examples was just to show how these things basically happen and how they move. But we are getting closer to when things really start to get building a systems and filtering out what is more important than the other thing, how you should kind of process through things. But showing these examples even without any sort of context, I just hope it shows that how these things move and how really market behaves the way that I described you in these last couple of videos. Okay, so let's continue.